According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. My name is Corinna Stoffel, and I'm the host of Toward a New World. The world seems to be falling apart. Are you as frustrated as I am with the talk about how to fix things or what needs to change, yet nothing changes? In the episodes, I invite people to look from different perspectives, sometimes even contrary to the current points of view. My intention is to evoke a different level of consciousness by empowering listeners to explore what is true for them and begin to live their lives from that place, thus changing their lives and through it, the world. If this appeals to you, I ask you to subscribe to the podcast on this channel.
Hello and welcome. Here we are again, having another look at Elderhood. Today I want to look at awareness. All of us look at the world through our specific lens. And sometimes, just because we are bombarded by what other people think, by the news, by the field, we can get bogged down in seeing only problems, seeing only what is wrong. The way I look at that is we're down at the valley floor and there's all those obstacles that prevent us from having a clear view. And what would happen if we walk up the mountain, at least a little bit or all the way? The perspective begins to change. The higher, the more overview we have. And what if I aim to get to the top and perceive the full spectrum, perceive all the different choices that are possible? And building on the previous 3 episodes, especially the last one, being willing to receive a vision, being willing to receive where things can lead, being willing to ask the question, what is possible, and perceive those, at least one of the possibilities. We start to realize that we humans are not the main species on Earth, that we are connected with everything around us. We are connected to the Earth. We are connected to the plants, to the animals. It's really what affects one affects all of us. And it's not just all of us, meaning other humans. It affects the earth. It affects nature. Because we emit a certain energy. And if that is an energy of fear, that is not very productive. If that is an energy of hope, of creativity, then a lot more is possible. So if we are aware of the impact of our choices, then we are supporting the system as a whole, not just fellow humans, but also the earth, nature, the plants that are growing, the animals that are around us, be it in the wild, be it the pets. I remember so well that when my daughter had a horse years and years ago, that the owner of the stable had a dog. And I used the dog that was very friendly with others who knew us as a barometer to see what kind of energy I had. Mostly, it would bound up and greet me, but there was one or the other time when I was not that happy, where it sort of bounded up and then stopped and then turned around and walked away. I said, uh-oh, I need to shift my energy a bit. But that is what awareness comes down to, is, are we willing to ask questions? What is going on around me? What is going on with me? Was what I just heard true? Truth was a lowercase t, and truth with a capital T are two totally different things. There is very little that is absolute truth with a capital T. Most of what we perceive as truth is because it's in alignment with our worldview, with the lenses through which we look. And so that's a personal level truth. But my truth may not be what is true for you. And neither do I have the right to say, you have to believe the same way as I do. You have to look at the world in the same way as I do. Maybe there are reasons why you look at the world the way you do, which is different from mine. And usually those reasons can be found in our past. And some truths, as I said, are capital T truths. To use an example, gravity applies to all of us. There's really no way around it. And having said gravity, that brings me to science. How often did we hear scientists have discovered, science proves that, fill in the blank, whatever it is. But what I'm noticing is, and I've been around long enough, that science today, sadly, is not what science used to be. Science used to be independent. Today, it's almost like we need to follow the money trail. Who is funding the research? Because technically, the data you use to prove something can be selected. There is no absolute truth in the data. Which ones am I looking at? I can look at the ones that prove the hypothesis from which I'm operating, or I can look at the ones that disprove that hypothesis. So what am I looking at? And again, it's who is funding the research? Follow the money trail. On some level, the same is true with politicians. I remember as a teenager, my parents said, oh, politicians promise you the blue of the sky. What does that mean? What my parents intended to say is, they will promise you whatever you want to hear, but is that feasible? Can that promise be kept? And more importantly, even, will they keep the promise? Some do, some don't. That is where awareness comes in. If I'm willing to be aware of what is going on, what is being talked about, how someone talks about something, I have a better chance of navigating the waters. So it's not only the awareness about others, but what is about self-awareness? How much am I aware of what is going on within me? How much am I aware of the repetition of thoughts? And recently, I noticed that I kept thinking a similar thought over and over again, as if I was pushing that away. And noticing that, I asked the question, what am I resisting? What am I resisting here? And being willing to notice what is going on for me, being willing to notice repetitive thoughts, I have been able to change things. I have been able to heal things within myself. And that is for me incredibly valuable. So, what if for an elder that is also important? And it is important in their way, how they want to deal with it. I'm not saying there is one right way and my way is the right way. My way is the right way for me, and that's it. If it happens to fit for somebody else, fine. But my invitation is check in with yourself and find out what is going on for you. What are you aware of? And utilize that. Don't believe, just blink whatever is being said. So I will leave you with that, and we'll talk about another aspect of elderhood soon.